Hi guys.
Everybody, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the Kaeka Clan. Thank you all for all those that have subscribed. You guys have shown us love. You guys have been present. We're so grateful. We're still a small channel with a small growing community, but we're still excited to be here. And this time around, we have an exciting series that has been boiling.
Oh yeah.
So we just decided to approach a few of couples that inspire us, couples that we look up to, couples that we love. And we decided to have like an interview session with them where we will be having a series labeled What God Has Joined Together.
I'm excited. We have interesting couples out there. You guys should stay tuned
with
for this
different
one. Yeah.
characters and personalities.
Oh, yes.
And they have shared their story. We're really thankful for the fact that they have taken time to share their love story with us, because we strongly believe that what God has joined together, let no man break, because we believe that marriage is a ministry. And yeah, so let's get right into it. But before we dive into the video, please don't forget to share, subscribe, and like this video. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Natasha Kitavi,
My name is Jonathan Kitavi Ngoni.
and we've been married now for 6
6
months.
My name is Philip. This is my wife Joanna, and we have been married for 5 years, going on 6 years this year. Happily married.
Yeah.
We are the Kovaceps. My name is Ubatera. This is my husband, Emmanuel. We've been married 8 years now.
This is my story.
My love story.
My name is Sydney Shipuka,
My name is Operi Shipuka.
and we are married going for
14 years.
14 years in May this year.
Are you excited?
I am Vernon Lowe, and this is my beautiful wife, Elaine. Originally Van Wyk, and then I made a Lowe 25 years ago.
So we met at a friend's birthday party. It was a collective of many friends, and we met there, but we got to know each other through the group chats and through ministry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we met in 2016. I was studying in Bloemfontein and he was in Lesotho planting a church. So while I was studying in Bloemfontein, they had a mission trip to Lesotho, where he was planting the church, and I was part of the mission trip. So I went there, and yeah, there's so much more to the story, but
I met you in 3 versions, but I'll just tell the one that's truth. Apparently, I met you at church. I saw you for the first time at church, and then I joined the choir. You made me lead a song, or it was apparently part of every member to lead a song. I think that's how I have already seen you, not met, but seen you occasionally. So I already knew something is happening.
In a nutshell, we met in church.
Oh,
Let's go with your version.
Okay. We met a couple of years back in 2006, September, on a farm at a wedding. Do you want to continue the rest? In fact, your story is more fun than mine.
So we met her on a farm, yes, her uncle's farm. It was her sister's wedding.
and she was a bridesmaid or maid of honor, to be specific.
Yes.
And a friend of mine was the groom. In fact, I was friends to both the groom and the bride. That Saturday evening, that's when I saw her. And then, in fact, Saturday afternoon, because this was not a typical traditional Herero wedding. It was a bit of a blend between Western and traditional. So there was a reception at the farm in the afternoon. Funny enough, in the morning when we did the ceremony, the church service, in as much as she was the maid of honor, I didn't take note of her at all. But in the afternoon, that's when I said, that's a gorgeous looking lady. When I saw her walking to the bride, and then think to go ask something, then the moment she walked away from her, I went straight to the bride and it's like, who's that? He told me, no, it's my sister, yari, yari, yari. Yeah, okay. And then I got my guts together. I approached her. I said, hey.
You don't have guts?
No.
Okay.
I said, hey. And she said, hey.
What did that mean?
I introduced myself. We said hi. And then, the rest is history.
So we met from my side when you came to introduce yourself?
Yes.
I didn't see you that whole weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
We were first friends. So it was back in the youth, the former church. So I was the treasurer / word director, and she was the counseling director. So we normally had to work closely together. And one day I just noticed her. I was playing keys, worship team, and I saw this, shall I say, angel floating down the aisle in a very flowery skirt and I think a white top. And I said, who is that? So the meeting took place already before that, but the noticing was that Sunday. And I don't know when she noticed me.
I think at the youth camps. As a secretary and the treasury, we always had to go do shopping and we always talk. So I think I started noticing him before he noticed me. But then in those years, we believed that the guy had to shoot the shot. Now it's different. So I've been waiting on him to open up and to open his eyes. And then he noticed.
Okay, so the way I knew that he was the one, I'd say I think I really got confirmation first from the Holy Spirit. That's been a prayer of mine for the longest time. I was sure, I was so certain that he was the one beforehand, obviously besides his character and all of that. What's the other question again? Okay. The way that I would say that we knew that we would get married for me, by the second date. Yeah, because I already had, there's a different story to that, but I actually had vision and all of that, and the Lord had spoken to me about him already way before maybe he knew as well. So I knew very, very early in our relationship, before we were even official, that this was the man I was going to marry.
We have a similar consensus on how we felt and knew that God had called us to do this.
Yeah.
And one was we had a deep inner knowing that this is the person. And then the most significant moment was a time that we had in Cape Town. We both attended the same conference and we agreed that if we do date, we have to end it in marriage. We have to marry. And so what is underneath that conversation was a commitment to stay together. And I think those are the things that we knew.
Yeah.
That the moment we both committed to see it through to marriage, and that we both had an inner knowing. We had certain feelings we enjoyed about one another.
Yeah, I think him asking that question, like saying to me,
if we're gonna start this thing, it must end in marriage. I think for me that was the confirmation that I needed, to say, okay, if I'm gonna do this, it's serious. It's not going to be games. We're gonna get married. So that for us settled everything. That it set the basis for our relationship.
You answer that one first. I don't know. How did I know?
I prayed about it. That's how I knew. I prayed about it. It took a while. I was not looking to be in a relationship at the time. So there was this guy, we were friends, and then feelings started to develop. And immediately when the feelings started, I prayed about it and I was like, Lord, I'm not looking. In fact, my prayer was not even anything along the lines of show me he's the one. My prayer was take these feelings away.
Let this cup pass on.
Yes, let this cup pass. Unfortunately, the cup did not pass and the feelings intensified. So the prayer had to change. So I prayed about it and I had my peace about it. And so I knew that, okay, this is the guy.
Okay, for me, I did not pray. I did pray, consult here and there the Holy Spirit, but I think it was more a thing of testing your character. I think that was more important for me. So I was always testing your camera. I remember the time that
You're testing my character.
Yeah, I don't know.
You said camera.
Oh, did I say camera?
Yeah.
Cut. I'm joking. Okay, I was testing your character. I just wanted to see, are you the woman that I would want to spend my life with? So it was more testing. I think the one test I remember was me trying to play hard to get, which you were just fed up with over time. And then the other one where I forgot that I told you I have a child because I was with a kid in the shop, but it was not my child, then I forgot. Then I told you that, and then a few days later you asked me, now where's your son or your child? And then I said, what? Whose child? I don't have a child. And then I remembered, in the shop I told you it's my son and stuff. So I think there was more testing, and then from there I just decided, no, I think you are the one that I want to settle with. Obviously did the last consultation, and then boom, there was just peace, satisfaction. I was like, this is a girl.
Backtrack before we met, I said to God, like, I don't want to date another person for the sake of dating. So if at all, it has to be somebody that God has sent for me or that he has earmarked for me. So in exactly a little bit over a year, that's when we met. And I think how I knew you were the one was in the way you carried yourself. And I think because my prayer has always been, I want to get married to somebody who's ready to settle down. Those were your first words indirectly.
Yeah.
Because part of your bold questions was, I'm looking for a partner, but only if you're ready to settle down. If not, then we can just move on. And I think that's how I knew. How did you know?
How about do I still know?
It's too late.
I think for me it was also exactly the same, in the sense that I had no time and tolerance in my plan to do an experimental dating kind of a thing. So I knew that the next person that I want to get to know has to be with a serious mindset to take it all the way. And I must admit that when I initially approached you, obviously I could not know whether you were the one until I had a conversation with you.
That's important.
To see whether our plans are aligned or not. Of course, the as Kaeka said, they are distant. That word. Were there, I mean, beautiful young lady and so on, and those are the superficial stuff. The depth of it is only established once a conversation happens, and it was only after you and I spoke where I said, aha, okay, now we are really talking.
Over weekend, and that weekend Vernon made some remarks about I was the first one who was ready, because I woke up early just to to get the hot water, and to have time to prepare myself. But since he made a comment, the next morning all the girls were up early.
No, wait. Let me tell it correctly.
The way that your mom.
So the Saturday morning, all the youth girls were sitting there in their PJs, pajamas, on the grass outside. And then my mom used to tell me, my son, if you want to see how a lady is, you must go early on a Saturday morning and see what they are doing. If they are curling their hairs and painting their nails, run. But if she's there assisting her mom with cleaning the house and maybe cooking, that would be the one. So I ended up my mom's comment with the following words. If I look from among you, there's only one that qualifies, and that was her. But that was before I noticed her. So the next morning, there was a run on the bathroom.
And I had competition. When we came back from Warfish Bay, that Easter Monday, I had a dream. But the dream was so real about us getting married. And I decided to pray about it, to seek God's face about it. So I kept that for a month, and then I told one of the intercessors, which was an elder in our church. I told him the dream that I had, and he said, no, let's pray about it. But then immediately after the dream, things just started falling in place, So then I realized, but I kept it from Vernon, because Vernon had this thing that God can speak to him. There's nothing wrong with his ears, and so I decided to keep it, for myself. But the evening before our wedding day, that evening, I asked the elder to come with me, so that we could talk about. And then actually I shared it with Vernon, and he told me that was very wise. So I believe that was the prompting of the Holy Spirit to just pray about it and not to share it with anybody else.
My side of that question.
Oh, okay.
I knew she was the one when, by the time we had a conversation about where this is going, at that point I knew that I was interested. I knew that this could be something. But once we had the conversation and we started that journey, I knew that this is going all the way into marriage. And yeah, I also had to pray through it, and I took some scriptures that sort of guided me on how to choose a wife. And my examples were with Adam and with Isaac, that God made it possible, and he brought Eve to Adam, and he had to choose. He had to look and see and recognize that this is the person for him. So it was almost a similar situation. I feel like I was presented with her, and I observed and I recognized that this is the person for me.
Yeah, so that is an interesting story, because so he actually had planned to propose in Lesotho already. So we had gone for a holiday back to South Africa. We went to Lesotho. He already had bought the ring, but things didn't turn out the way you wanted, I guess. And then he ended up proposing here in Windhoek. He set up this nice memory lane of how we met and the things we've done, like pictures and words. I guess it was scriptures as well, I think.
No,
was
it
it
was
just?
about 10 things I liked about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 things he liked about me. I mean, I was so overwhelmed. I probably didn't even really read the stuff. I was just like, oh, these are great pictures. I browsed through what he was saying. I didn't understand that it was 10 things that he likes about me. But it was really great stuff. And then he had like candles put in like a heart. And first, actually, this was what happened. So he said I must come to him, to the house where he was staying with one of the ladies from church, was hosting him when he moved to Namibia. And then it's like a nice big house. And so he set up everything in the back. So then he told me, come, let's go buy airtime. Now I'm like, why would we need to go buy airtime at the service station when you can just buy from your phone. But long story short, I was so annoyed. We were walking down and my family came up, my sister and her husband, not that time, my sister and her husband came up, so they were hiding behind, right? And then then we came into the house, and then he walked me down to the back of the house, and there's all these candles and there's all these words and pictures, and I'm just like crying. My sister had one job, that their job was to take pictures. But if you ask me now, we don't have proof of this engagement and that it happened. It's like there's one blurry picture that she took. She was too excited, by the way.
The story with the engagement is a long one, but let's shorten it. We courted 3 years. We were already courting with the intent to marry. So there was a lot of background things with the families and the asking process and all of that. So long story short, his family was waiting on my dad to sort of give them direction as to when the wedding will be. And I think the engagement was to be slotted in at some point in the process. Only for my dad to spring on us in October 2015 that the wedding would be taking place December 2015. So we had to just hustle and run around and plan a wedding. And then there was no engagement.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Describe engagement. I think
Okay.
it's always fun when you tell.
So those of you that are watching from the diaspora, over the seas there, so our culture does not really make room for extravagant engagements.
Yeah.
Those fancy things that you see on TV and so on.
What culture is that?
Hereros in Namibia.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it also goes with most black cultures, where the engagement process starts with the elders in the family having to engage and talk until you come to an agreement. But for me, it was important that I create a memory that the two of us can treasure. And as a result, I get to come up with a way that I can still be able to achieve that without having to step on toes of the cultural beliefs.
Yeah.
So I planned like a little something that was on the 13th of February 2010.
Yeah.
We went to Swakop to go visit a cousin. And I had a very detailed plan. I mean, I had started preparing 2 weeks in advance. I got a colleague to help me with creating the final product. So I got the engagement ring secured in advance. I think it was 2 days before we left. So we went shopping. I said, listen, we are anyway going down this road. We need to start planning now already. Since I don't have a lot of money, show me the ring that you want so I can start saving for it in advance, and at least know I have an idea in terms of how much it costs. So he went to go show me the ring. It was
during lunch.
Yeah, it was during lunch. So he went to go look at the rings. Then we went back to the office. I dropped it at the office and I went right back to the shop. And I bought the ring. So fast forward. The whole arrangement was done. I had a little sack. So we had this because since it was Valentine's month.
Month of love.
Month of love.
Very
apparently, it should be month of love every month.
Yeah.
We had this little book. There's a lady at work that was selling this bouquet, the typical Valentine's bouquet with champagne, chocolate, biltong here and there. And then I had the similar bouquet, but then in this particular one, I added an extra element. So I had this little sack that had marble stones in it, different colors. And then I hid the ring inside those marble stones. Then I tied the little sack with the marble stones around the champagne bottle. Then I put it back into the overall wrapping. So yeah, we went to Swakop. We were at the beach. It was on a Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, around 4, 5, 6 there. because I had a very meticulous plan that needed to be executed exactly to the letter.
You want to tell them about your stress? Was that for another day?
No, that's for another day. That's for another day. No, home girl gave me a lot of stress. Yeah, so it was in the afternoon, the sun was about to set. Took out the bouquet. I said, listen, but this just need something for your birthday, for Valentine's. And then she ordered, because she ordered had the same thing for me as well. So we both took it out, we exchanged, we started laughing about it. But then she noticed that in mine, there was something different that I gave to her. I was like, what is that? I said, I don't know. Then she opened it up and she was like, she started unwrapping the little sack, untying it, and then she saw the ring. Got so excited. I took the ring. So when she saw the ring, I then went down on my knee to officially propose. She was so excited that even in the process of giving me the hand so I can put the ring on, she gave me the right hand. I said, babe, that's not how it works. Yeah, that's how we got engaged.
And it was beautiful. It was
really
truly beautiful.
In principle, we already met, the parents met, and we asked for a hand in marriage so that the engagement can be a surprise. So I went to, I think it was American Swiss, and we looked at rings. So I just looked and said which one she liked. And then afterwards I went to the lady and said, okay, I want that ring. But then she told me, don't buy it now. Next week we have a sale. But I said, I wanted to get engaged this weekend because we're going to the coast. And then she said, I will give the ring to you. No deposit, nothing. She gave the ring to me, not even signing for it. And we went to Swakop. She had an outfit that her mom gave her that I hated. That morning, she wore that outfit. So we were by the beach. She had no chance to make her hair. She looked...
No makeup.
She looked her morning prettiest. It's all I can disclose. Because the wind, the moisture in the air,
Yes,
the hair was staining in my favorite outfit. I pointed out to her, you see those two birds, seagulls, the albatrosses, when they pick a mate for life? It's for life. So, and I said, and I have selected mine, I've picked mine, and I pull out the ring and I put in a finger. And because, mind you, I already asked her on the first day that I asked her out. This is where I see this relationship will go. Marriage. So when you say yes now, it's yes to marriage. So that's why I just stuck the ring in the finger, because she already basically said yes. And then she went into the shrill,
Bessie's version.
Yeah, that's why I had to do my drama voice here.
Yes, I was surprised, but then when we went home, some friends decided we must go to Spur and we must celebrate, because he was 28 and I was 24 when we got married. So they've been waiting, for Vernon to hook up with somebody. So they were so joyful, and we went to celebrate. Yeah, I really didn't look well. I had normal clothes on. I would have wanted it to be different, but I think we're not always looking good every day,
Interesting that she calls it normal clothes. I hated that outfit.
Yeah.
Okay, so our engagement story, it took a while to get there, and when it happened, it was almost a surprise. We were going through the whole talking to parents thing, and that took a while, convincing her dad.
We really wanted to honor them.
Yeah, so we really wanted to honor our parents, and it took some time, and then eventually there was a breakthrough, and it all happened so fast. From one day to the next, I had decided to propose to her on a certain date, and they chose the meeting the day after. So So I was just like, wow, these things are just aligning. So it was almost like a God moment that the engagement just happened when it did. Yeah, and she was surprised. I tricked her.
Yeah, he
I told her
actually
we're
tricked
going
me.
to a photo shoot for a friend, and turned out to be her photo shoot.
Yeah, I actually was surprised, guys, and I really thought he wouldn't catch me, but he did. The most special part of our wedding, man, like it's difficult to choose. But I think maybe something that would have stood out was the fact that we didn't have a wedding dance. We had a wedding song that we sang. So we sang at our own wedding. And I really enjoyed our vows as well.
Yeah, and the family put in effort on both sides, and that was a blessing too.
So yeah, then he went on his knees and he proposed, and I was just like, oh yeah, of course I'll marry you. So yeah, that's what happened.
I think the most special part was just having everybody there, all the family, all the friends to celebrate the beautiful day with us. But particularly we enjoyed the ceremony.
Yeah.
It was very special for us, and even just the guy that did the ceremony was the same guy that led me to the Lord. So it was really amazing to have him actually officiate our wedding. And we also enjoyed the dancing with our parents.
Yeah.
Just the exchange, or in the end, dancing with our parents. And then Joanna surprised me, and I only figured out in retrospect, but I enjoyed it. With a dance with all the siblings and
The
brothers and
Yeah.
that was a cool moment. I thought they're doing it for the people, but apparently it was for me. But I didn't know that. But it was a cool wedding.
Yeah, I think for me, generally, the whole wedding was special because of the fact that God really provided for us in our wedding, in our time of the wedding. You know, it's one of those things I look back and I'm like, God just gave us a wedding of our dreams, you know, and I can't talk about our wedding without saying that part of God's provision throughout the whole wedding, you know, like, yeah, it was really God. But I think the most special moment for me was when my dad handed me over to Philip. Hey, I was crying, sobbing like a child, and you crying was really special. That means you really love me. So, anyways.
Okay, so the special part in our wedding,
The traditional side of
the
the
traditional wedding was, I think for me, was mostly the going at night to my wife. So if I come to that bed,
wedding. The people don't know what you were talking about going at night.
they know.
So you must tell them.
We did
were
a
at the farm.
Herero, we
Yes.
did a Herero traditional wedding.
Yes.
Not a Damara traditional wedding, Herero. So at night, I was escorted by
Your peers.
my peers, which is called in Herero
Omakura.
Mekubaba. Huh?
Omakura.
Yeah, that word. So that was my part that I always looked forward to in those 2 days. But the thing is, when I get to my wife at that time, I was always nervous, so I would only lie in one position like a soldier when I'm there. Nothing funny happened. But
Fully kitted in your
fully
suit.
kitted, nothing is big. Because I'm also nervous, like, what time are we waking up? What's happening? Oh, my in-laws, you guys really need to revise your traditions. Yeah, so that was the fun part for me, and I think that moment was what I would really feel like it's happening and this is a person.
I think the most special part for me was also part of the traditional side of the wedding, and that was when they announced like, oh, the grooms are here. I think the whole time it was surreal until they were like, oh, vakupevea, and then the entire process started. So I think that sort of set everything in motion, and it was like, oh, this is really happening. Yeah.
And then we did the traditional wedding Friday, Saturday, and then we had Sunday, the white wedding. Anything special about that for me? It's maybe the dance part where now you had to, is it open the floor? What do they call it?
Opening the dance floor.
Yeah. Oh, my wife was nervous, man. Why were you nervous?
I was not.
So but that was a special moment, just holding a woman like that with a nice waist. It's nice. And
I think on the church side of things, the
yeah.
most special part was when somebody cried.
Oh, why did you cry?
I will not mention names, but it wasn't me, so yeah.
No, I did not cry. The church had dust, so I had, it was like difficult cleaning. No, the problem is Eddie, the best man. Oh, he was not supposed to like rub my shoulders and do comforting things. So I was just releasing, but I was releasing because the money was too much. Okay.
It's the people. I think the number of people that chose to come and celebrate us. No, that's number two. The first part was when you actually rocked up on the Friday. I think for Herero Bride, that's the longest wait by far. You know, like you've been ready since morning and you're waiting for the groom to rock up. It's probably only in our culture where the bride gets to wait for the groom.
Yep.
So when you rocked up, I was just like, oh, thank God he's here. Not that I had doubts, but but I think it was just beautiful. Like, this is actually it. This is what we're doing. And then secondly, obviously, the people who came to celebrate us.
I think for me, it was indeed also the same. Having to embrace this biggest moment of my life, surrounded by the people we love, family and friends, that makes it worthwhile. I don't really know how people elope and just get married by themselves. Without family, it means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
Okay, I would say the most special part of our wedding was that he sang 2 songs, because he used to sing at all the weddings, you know. But that was so special to me, and also because I married the man of my dreams, because I mean, I had the dream and God made it come true. So to me, that was very special, not the flowers and the decorations and what, but marrying the one that I truly love. That to me was special. And you?
Tito, the same. I married her. That I couldn't care less about the reception and the rest of the stuff, but that was the most important part, marrying her.